recent rather, Walmart. Tractor Supply was the first back in June. You have companies like Ford, Toyota, Molson Coors also joining the ranks of companies that are pulling back on DEI. Now, we did reach out to ask them why now, right? Get an answer to that question. A lot of them either pointed us to the original memo or didn't offer additional color in terms of why they're doing it. Now, some experts we spoke to said, I mean, it's clear we're in an election year. A lot of the political frenzy that's been taking place has been pushing companies to pull back out of an air of caution for the incoming administration. And then, of course, you can't ignore the pressure that's been coming from far right-wing activists like an individual named Robbie Starbuck, who's been on social media calling out these companies' programs, threatening boycotts. So clearly corporations starting to respond to the pressure.
And Brendan, what does the data say about the impact DEI initiatives have had on companies? And could some of these companies that are cutting back face any legal pushback?
It's important to look at a specific example. So let's talk about pay equity, right? Companies who have been doing analysis and looking to see which employees are being paid fairly, equal pay for equal work by race and gender, those companies are being able to close the gap by disclosing that type of information. Pulling back on these types of initiatives are going to, endanger possibly progress on that front. But then you have the law, right? We actually had Robbie Starbuck on CNBC earlier today talking about what some of the laws exist that are already protecting these types of measures. Take a listen.
I think we've already got these anti-discrimination laws on the books. We already had the ability to protect disabled people and things along those lines and ensure nobody was not being hired because of their race. These are already laws on the books.
Now, what I'll tell you is we're talking to lawyers as well, and they're saying a lot of these legal protections, they do protect employees, but a lot of the work that companies are doing are not breaking any laws. Providing this data, making it public, is not breaking any law, and that's something that these companies have to take into consideration.
All right, Brandon Gomez, thanks so much. A 20-year-old hiker is recovering after surviving 50 days alone in Canada's Rocky Mountains.
He was just found last week after his family reported him missing in October. NBC News correspondent Stephanie Gosk has more.
Sam Banastic flashing thumbs up in a British Columbia hospital. It is nothing short of miraculous that he ended up there. According to the police, the 20-year-old left on a solo hiking trip in early October. His destination, Redfern Kiley Provincial Park, deep within the Canadian Rockies. This time of year, the weather is unpredictable, and temperatures often plummet below zero. How difficult is it to survive this time of year in that kind of place?
Well, if you don't know how, it would be extremely difficult.
The wild terrain home to dangerous predators, black bears, grizzlies, and wolves.
Large packs of wolves with well over 100 wolves in the packs, and they are very active hunters in that area.
Banastic was supposed to return October 17th, but he did not. Instead, the outdoor enthusiast found himself in his own version of the popular show, Alone.
Bone-chilling cold. Winter's coming.
It is as wild as any in North America.
Survivalists are left by themselves in the wilderness to brave the elements and the animals.
Grizzly bears.
Mountain lion.
Some seasons set in Western Canada. Banastic really was alone.
Fortunately, Sam had experience in hiking and being in that kind of environment, so he was able to survive. And then he moved into a valley where he built another camp and a shelter in a dried out creek bed.
Eventually wandering out of the woods on a desolate forestry road 7 weeks later. The police say he was treated for smoke inhalation and frostbite, eventually reunited with his family. Here they are at the Buffalo Inn, where guests are invited to enjoy the beautiful snowy world of British Columbia from indoors. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News.
Amazing. Coming up, home for the holidays. We're going to show you the moment when more than a dozen kids got